this trend you're describing was not interrupted by Democratic administrations.
Well, it was slowed down some.
So there's a good chance that Elizabeth Warren will run for president in 2020. And I know it's 4 years off, and there's no reason to really talk about this right now. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because the strategy that she's using to talk to voters is off a little bit. Now, Warren is according to polling, she's the second most popular politician behind Bernie Sanders, but she's far below Bernie Sanders. So Bernie Sanders is something at like 60% of people around the country love Bernie Sanders, and Warren is somewhere below 50. So she has a lot of ground to make up to somebody like Bernie Sanders to really give Trump a run in 2020. And now, the strategy that she's using is one that most Democrats are using, and it's something that they really need to change because they're not going to gain support if they keep talking the way that they're talking. Now, I need to lay the groundwork here. So, according to polling, so this is Gallup polling, they track who Republicans, Independents, what percentage of people are Republicans, Independents, Democrats over, years and years. And recent polls over the last several years show that the majority of people consider themselves to be independents. Now, why is that important? Because when you are trying to coerce is maybe the wrong word, trying to get voters on your side in an election, it's better to have an independent voice. So that's part of the reason why Bernie Sanders is so popular, because he is an independent. And he's not affiliated with Democrats or Republicans. And he isn't forced to cover for them and to defend them. And I'm going to make the argument that even if you are a Democrat, you shouldn't be forced or feel like you should be defending what the Democrats have done over the last 20 years. So when you have currently 44% of people considering themselves to be independent in a poll taken this month versus Republicans 25%, Democrats 28%, 44% is a large chunk of people. You can grab a lot of that independent vote if you have an independent message. Now, how do you get that message out? Well, you attack Democrats and Republicans for both screwing up, for both being bought into big money. But I'm going to play some clips here from Elizabeth Warren's appearance on Bill Maher, where she skirts the question of why Democrats keep losing several times. So let's start with the first clip.
Because 1980 to 2015, there's some Democrats in there.
Oh, no kidding.
2 terms of Barack Obama, 2 terms of Bill Clinton. Mm-hmm. So, and sometimes when they controlled the House and the Senate too. So what happened there? Don't the Democrats bear some responsibility for that? Aren't they supposed to put the brakes on this? And
absolutely.
Okay, so you hear Warren there say at the end, absolutely. But I won't show the rest of the clip. It goes on for a couple minutes. But she just goes on to explain how, yeah, Republicans have also done great things before 1980. So she just discusses how Nixon implemented the EPA, for example. But again, she's avoiding talking shit about Democrats. Why? Why are you avoiding that? You have to point out the mistakes that your party has made, otherwise people aren't going to trust you. The better response to that would have been, absolutely. Obama campaigned on fighting Wall Street, and then once he got in, he didn't prosecute anybody. Obama campaigned on protecting whistleblowers, and then when he got in, he used the Espionage Act more than anybody else. These are points that should be made. And if they are made, Warren's popularity would greatly increase. If she points out the fact that Democrats are bought just like Republicans are bought, she would get more voters. She'd become more popular. Because she'd be making the clear distinction that I'm not one of those people who are bought. Yeah, a lot of Democrats are bought. That's not me. And Warren has fought very well against the big banks. But when you play this game of trying to protect your side, people see through that shit. People don't want to see a politician who's just blanketly protecting their party. They want to see honest people who are able to assess things the way that voters can. Voters can see that both parties are bought. They want to hear that from their politician. That's a large part of the reason, just like why Bernie Sanders is popular with independents, because he is an independent. Donald Trump is popular with independents because he was never really seen as a Democrat or Republican, because he's been both. In reality, I don't know. I don't think Donald Trump really has any affiliation, because I don't think he even understands policy. But that was the perception that he gave out, that he wasn't bought, that he wasn't a politician. That's why he was popular. That's the main reason he was popular, because he wasn't viewed as a typical politician. I mean, people always want to say, oh, it's because people are racist and they're sexist. How about every other Republican? You think Ted Cruz would have been able to beat a Democrat? Or Marco Rubio? Or Mike Pence if he ran as president? People generally don't like Republicans. And when they say stupid shit, if Mike Pence was caught on tape saying, grab him by the pussy, he would have been out. He would lose popularity because he's perceived as a politician. He's not perceived as an outsider. Donald Trump was perceived as an outsider. That's why he was like Teflon when it came to all of these so-called scandals. Because people didn't really care what he was saying because they knew he was an outsider. Or they thought he was an outsider. So Warren has to play the outsider game, because if she doesn't, she very well could lose in the same way that Hillary Clinton lost. And again, it's speculation that she'll even run. This is really just advice for any Democrat running in 2020. Don't protect your party. If your party did shitty things, call it out. Talk about it. Anyways, let's go to clip 2 here and see how this conversation develops.
But I can see why the real Americans out there, the Trump voters, say a pox on both their houses. Because this trend you're describing was not interrupted by Democratic administrations.
Well, it was slowed down some by Democratic administrations.
Again, Warren, there's no reason for Warren to be protecting Democrats here. She knows the reality. She knows Obama talked a big progressive game in 2008 and then ended up running as a typical centrist. She knows that Bill Clinton did damage to the middle class. These are all things that she knows. She could call that out and say, you're right. Barack Obama did this. Bill Clinton did that. In addition to Bush destroying the economy. In addition to Reagan implementing these policies that gave all the money to the top. Hit both sides. When you keep hitting one side and then saying, "Oh, well, Democrats, sure, but Democrats aren't that bad. They did that." You're not getting support. You're not going to lose Democrats to Donald Trump in 2020. There's no fear there. So you can hit Democrats. What you will lose are independent voters. If you don't talk shit about both parties, you're going to lose independent voters. There's a huge opportunity there that I don't know why they're so afraid to grasp. I mean, part of it is because they're in this system where they know each other. She's friends with politicians that are bought. It's hard for her to call them out. She knows Barack Obama. She knows Hillary Clinton. So because she's in that system, these are her friends. Yeah, there's going to be a natural response to want to protect them. But you can't do that. For the benefit of voters, you can't do that. You have to call them out. Otherwise, things won't change. Now, one last clip here. Let's just see where this conversation goes to.
And I want to be fair here. Democratic administrations are the ones who put some of the brakes on, who did somewhat more antitrust enforcement. And let's keep in mind, it's a Democratic administration that went for universal health care with Obamacare, or at least pushed in that direction, and Dodd-Frank, and built, my personal favorite, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
Okay. yeah, those things were good. But you're trying to discuss why people's lives suck. You're not your book is about why the economy sucks. Why the rich are getting richer, why the poor are getting poorer. So why are you defending Democrats in the middle of this? I mean, she discusses in this entire interview, she discusses the thesis of her book is this long arc where from 1980 to now, the rich have gotten richer, all the gangs have gone to the top. And the poor and middle class have gotten nothing. Okay, if that's your thesis, why are you sticking in defenses to Democrats in the middle of that? There were 2 major Democratic administrations between 1980 and now, right? 2. 2. So why are you defending them? How is that benefiting your message? If you want to talk about the issues in America and what's wrong with it, why are you defending this? Why are you defending the party you're a part of? And that question almost answers itself. Maybe she should be independent. It would absolutely increase her popularity if she did. If Elizabeth Warren came out and said the Democratic Party is bought, I no longer feel like I am a part of this party. I must be independent. Do you know how popular she would get? If Elizabeth Warren went independent, she would be insanely popular. But I don't think she has the balls to do it. But the next best thing to do is at least call out when your party makes mistakes. Politics isn't a team sport. It's people's lives. So if your party does something that is against your beliefs and what you think should be happening within government, then discuss it. Don't shy away from it.